Okay, so my setup is kind of different. I know you guys are used to, at least those who are not here for the first time. If you've been here for a minute now, you know my setup is usually on this side. I usually put my screens and my computers here, right? So I'm watching and controlling everything on my desk. Uh, but you guys, when you're not seeing the video, it's like I'm looking at the. If you don't know what I'm talking about, go to the previous videos. You get what I'm saying. But on this particular video, I kind of had to put a bigger screen in front of me. So that's where I'm watching most of the stuff. So it might slightly be off. Let me know if it really affects you guys. But yeah, today we have an interesting video. Um, it's on the list of those one of those videos that I watched a minute ago and I was like, I'm gonna do it eventually. I want to do it, and I know I've not been the most consistent. I know, I know. Um, I've just been busy. You know, I do YouTube hopefully for as a career soon. Hopefully, that's really dependent on if you guys hit the subscribe button and if you guys continue showing up for these videos and if you guys like it. I might keep doing it anyway, even if. But I hope you get what I'm trying to say. So, without wasting much of your time today, we have an interesting video. I hope this doesn't throw you off because I'm watching on a bigger screen, and I'm still deciding whether I should put in the post production where exactly the video should go, or I'll figure it out. But let's hear what this brother man is talking about.
I remember when my wife gave birth to my firstborn son.
Yeah.
She gave birth at 3:15 Sunday morning, right? We were at the hospital, held my boy, boom, 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 boom. Sharp, say you need to bounce. Cool. I bounced, went home, bathed, went to church.
Come on. Man.
Led worship there, leading worship. While I'm leading worship, the phone is on the stand of the keyboard. I see the message, come pick me up now.
Yeah.
Okay. Can't answer now.
Yeah.
Like, okay, let me push. As soon as the pastor started preaching, got out. So I was that guy.
Man.
I was so heavily involved in my church that when I get involved like that, I don't pay attention to what everything else on the side. And I think, again, because of my naivete when I got married, like church was number one instead of number two. So my number one, which was my wife, became number two.
Man.
I remember there was like, my wife was a children's church teacher. And I remember.
All right, before I continue with this video, right, I'm still trying to, I remember it, but I'm still trying to see where it landed. But basically, I think I'm the best person or the best person to have the perfect person to have a take on this. Mainly because this is my lane in a sense. I've grown up in the church, you know, so I sort of understand where he's coming from, what he's trying to say, and so far so good. So far so good. So far so good. But I'm about to see where this lands and figure out what exactly I want to say to this, right? But so far already, as you can see, like I guess like this is one of the biggest problems that people make as far as ministry is concerned. That I guess even for me growing up, I always heard because I grew up under amazing hip hop artists, right? Who were gospel hip hop artists, right, at the time. If you don't understand why I'm calling them hip hop artists and not gospel hip hop artists, it's a long story. I promise we'll do it on the video. If you didn't grow up under the 116s and the cross movements, it's okay. This is not the video. But they sort of had a saying. The reason why I want to tie this into this particular video is they sort of had a saying that you need to put your priorities straight, and that God is not ministry, and ministry is not God. You know, that it was always going to be God number one, your family number two, and ministry number three. However, because of the indoctrination that happens in the churches, sometimes you start to feel like the ministry is the church. The church is God, right? And so I sort of kind of understand what he's trying to say, but I'll trade that. I'll trade that lightly, and I'll trade that cautiously and carefully. Why? Because I don't want to enable people who are like, I know church is a bad place. You don't have to, or even the extreme people who will be like, who say all Christians gotta go to church. The Bible says, not forsaking the assembly of of um, of some as the men of that verse, not forsaking the assembly of the saints as the men of some is right. In that, people of the world do not value the congregation of saints, right? So what Paul was trying to say in that particular portion, he was trying to tell you not to forsake going to church. So I don't want to create a narrative or an excuse, or you get what I'm trying to say, what I'm trying to communicate. I don't want to sound like I'm voicing for those people, right? Because I go to church. I go to a local church. I have my own local church, right? So I'm not trying to voice for them. But sometimes we tend, as developing Christians, we tend to take ministry as God. And so sometimes that's dangerous. Why? Because most of the times when you get hurt within church, you end up taking your frustrations to God, right? Which ties in the whole conversation about church hurt and everything else. But let's finish this video and see where he's trying to land with this.
One time there was like a kids thingy on a
Sure,
Saturday, and my
sure.
wife was not feeling well at the time. I don't remember what was the issue, but I know that work was hectic.
Yeah, yeah.
She had a rough week, and she's like, I'm not going anywhere Saturday. What I should have said was, yes,
Yeah. Stay at home.
take
man.
some rest,
Rest. Yeah.
and you need it. You know, what I said was, you made a commitment.
Yeah. To the house of the Lord.
Yeah. Again, like I get it. Like, especially that's a problem that we have as kids who grew up in the church, right? Sometimes we take things a little bit too far as far as spiritualizing things is concerned. Again, like we need to separate God from church. However, church is God's baby. So I'm not trying to say, I feel like this is a conversation that's too big for a YouTube video. But let's try and see how much we can get.
You said you're gonna serve.
Yeah.
You are not serving.
Yeah.
There's a disconnect.
Sure.
I might have not put it in those words, but you
Sure.
get what I'm saying. That's one of the biggest fights we've ever had.
Sure.
And my oldest walked in and saw my wife crying.
How old was he at that point?
At the time, he is now turning 10. He was 5.
Okay.
And he remembers that one
Sure.
because he saw his mom crying for the first time.
Man.
And I remember my wife saying that sometimes I feel like you love the church and pastor more than me. I was like, flip, man, I'm so sorry.
Yeah.
I still had to leave and go be at the church. I'm like, I'll see you when I get back. We'll continue when I get back. But yeah, that changed the entire way I looked at ministry and family.
Yeah.
So it's from That Husband. This is That Husband podcast. Okay, so you go check it out. I don't know where to land with this, bro. There's so much to say about this, right? There's so much to say about this, especially like again, like I said, I'm trying to figure out which direction to go. But again, I still feel like this is too short a conversation for a YouTube video, right? There should be a podcast on its own, right? But again, sometimes we get our priorities mixed up. One thing that you need to understand, God cares about the institution of family because it's a cell to the church. It's a cell unit to the church. I don't know if that makes sense. So I would argue that God cares about the family more. I'm trying to be careful with what I say because again, I'm trying to be aware that I might not have the chance to explain past this opportunity that I get to spend with amazing people like you. Right? So I'm trying to be very careful with what I'm trying to deliver. But God cares just as much about the institution of the family as much as he cares about the institution of the church. However, he is going to most definitely hold you responsible as the father of the house of that particular unit, if that makes sense. Should anything happen to your wife or your kids, and the excuse that I was in church won't be good enough for him. So sometimes we need to get our priorities straight. Again, I understand. I understand the conversation of service, right? Of serving in the house of God. But sometimes because we get our this is a whole conversation. I hope you understand how big this conversation is. So please do let me know in the comment section if you want us to have this conversation, because this is a huge conversation. I don't feel like we have enough time to do it, especially in this video. But yeah, God, family, ministry. I know a lot of people who put ministry, family, and God. You know, the reason why most people even put God underneath is because I know people, bro, who are very committed in the house of God. But you ask them how often they pray, how often they read the Bible, you know. And I'm not saying but God, family, ministry, right? Because as much as ministry is important, family replenishes the strength that you have to serve in church, right? So yeah, if you have a family, if you have your wife, your kids, if you have your husband, don't you are accountable to God for them more than you're accountable in your local church, right? So hey, that's the Christian way. That's the Christian thing to do. That's a Christian thing to do. God even says a righteous man leaves an inheritance for his kids. That means he's so concerned about your own family, right? There's a reason why he said he's the God of Abraham, Isaac, and Jacob. He's concerned about here. God has won your heart, right? So now that he has won your heart, he's concerned about everyone that comes after you. He's concerned about what comes after you. So yeah, I guess this conversation is a pretty huge one, right? And I won't do justice to it in the few minutes that I have with you guys. So I'm gonna end it here. And if this is your first time being with us and you're still hanging out with me at this particular point, please just hit that subscribe button and let me know from which part of the world you're watching this video from. Yep. And yeah, again, ladies and gentlemen, if this is your first time watching me, my name is Tonight Global, and I'm here. I wanted to say every day. I want to say every week. For now, let's just say I'm here. So just keep showing up